Hi, I'm Casey, and in today's video we're looking at what I'm told is the first version 3 supercharger on the East Coast. We're going to Lynchburg, Virginia, and we're going to take a look and see what version 3 supercharger does to a Model X. And we might even meet up with the Central Virginia Tesla clubs, and at that point we'll check and see what a Model 3 will do for us, and we'll even give it a review. I even went so far as to wash the car for you guys, because last time I talked about how dirty it was. So it looks like my information was out of date. The V3 Superchargers on the East Coast are all popping up together all within the last week, but this was not the first. This is just one of the first. The first one was either Miami or New York. I don't recall now that I'm driving. Our car doesn't yet have the station in the map. I've done all sorts of connecting to Wi-Fi to see if the map would update. It does not yet have the new station on it. Our car won't preheat and do everything it needs to do to get maximum rate from the station. So we'll see what we get out of it. And again, the beauty of the version 3 superchargers is that you have 4 stations hooked up to one cabinet, but unlike the V2 stations, you're not sharing a stall. So everybody gets the maximum charge rate from the jump. Right behind this loud, slow fossil here. So unlike version 2 superchargers, you're not sharing and splitting a charge, so it doesn't matter who got there first. My theory is still that that these are the test units for the mega chargers for the Tesla Semi, and that each Semi would either share like the old stations did, or they each get one station to themselves. So think of it like a much faster version of the Tesla urban superchargers, where the allocation is there. It doesn't matter A or B or C or D in this case. Because my car doesn't know that there's a supercharger here, I'm going to turn on Ludicrous Plus mode about 4 or 5 minutes out from the station. That way there'll be some latent heat in the system. Yes. Besides the actual stopping, there was nothing there. What I found is this version of autopilot really doesn't like cresting hills that it can't see over, and it'll slam on the brakes, like we saw there. So anyway, just to make sure there's a little bit of heat in the system so we can try and get somewhere near that maximum charge rate for Model X and see how far above 150 we can get on this 45 Fahrenheit day. We'll be there shortly, so coming up we'll turn on all the cameras and get started. Catch you then when we get there. I keep forgetting that max battery mode doesn't actually work when the battery level is in the yellow. So while we're in Ludicrous Plus, it's not doing anything, so I'm going to flip it back to regular Ludicrous, because we don't need launch mode to do a supercharger review. So be there shortly. Alright, so it's at the Sheetz gas station, and you can see it from the road, which is good. I don't know if the dot's any good or not, because my car doesn't know how to make the dot yet. Alright, got a drive up ATM. Looks like this might be a Sheetz with a drive-through. Alright, we got a Model S right here. You got one pull install. It's also got half of the spots are 10-minute general parking.
They don't have a number.
They don't need numbers. It's a generation 3. 10-minute shared. But if they do get their numbers, it'll be A, B, C, D, if I've got this correct, because it's an 8 stall. And there should be 2 cabinets. Boom! There they are. 2 cabinets. Instead of, normally for an 8 stall station, you would have 4 cabinets. I can come back a little bit more. There we go. Alright, so the first thing you're going to notice when using a version 3 supercharger for the first time, if you're used to version 2 and version 1, is the cables are a lot thinner because they are water cooled. Wow. They're about as thick as my home unit with the 80 amps. Open. Sorry about the music. Sentry currently unavailable. Alright, there we go. I'm gonna get in because of the music. I don't want YouTube to take this down. So it's already at 61. 20. Alright. So the way that I've heard it described that makes the most sense to me was, yes, the peak rate is lower, or it's not the peak rate. Yes, the peak rate isn't sustained, but the very slowest you get out of a V3 Supercharger is better than the best you'll get out of the very best of the V2 chargers. There we go. 149, 150. All right, we're V3 charging, baby. 153 kilowatts. It's the fastest this car has ever charged. It's already added 5 kilowatt hours. It's charging at 450 miles an hour rate. It's going down now. Oh. All right, you can already hear the cooling system is kicked in. There it goes. It's going full floors. Almost 500 miles an hour recharge rate. That's incredible. All right, now we're going down. Down, down, down. Whoa! Charge stopped. So this is very much like what Kyle experienced over there at Out of Spec Motoring on his Model 3. It got to a certain temperature and it just kicked off. All right, it's coming back, coming back. The other thing that may have happened is I'm wondering if this Model S had finished his charge cycle and it reallocated. Because it popped right back to 140. Still going down. Off again. We'll have to give Kyle a call and let him know what we found. Either way, it's still wicked fast, even with it recycling like this. It's weird that the cooling system aborts too, unless it's the cooling system cycling that's causing this. But you would think that if it's not a problem with the cooling system, that it would keep trying to hold that temperature unless it was already there. Alright, so now we're at V2 speeds. We're under 120. Now, 120 was V2 first release, or not even really first release, one of the later releases of V2. 150 was the last major upgrade that we got to it, and 90 was generation 1. And then 72 is the urban supercharger, which is also a V2 supercharger, but it's just kind of fixed in place. And since 72 plus 72 is almost 150, I wonder if that was their test of that system before rolling it out to the normal cabinets. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the charge profile at the back of the video. That way anyone who doesn't want to do any analysis or look at the curves or whatever, they can just kind of watch the action and then move on. And then I'm not going to speed it up or anything. I'll just leave it at regular speed, and it'll just be at the end of the video if you want to see the charging. There's definitely a temperature difference between the cable sitting there on the dock and the one we're using. Ours is a lot warmer. It doesn't feel warm to the touch by any means, but it doesn't feel cold, and that's pretty cool. Whenever Luna returns from the restroom, she's going to tell us about how clean the sheets is, and then I'll do some more shots of the equipment, just hopefully make sure that if we got any bad shots, they'll be good shots, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we're about to finish up here at the Lynchburg Supercharger, the version 3, 250 kilowatt supercharger. And Luna, how was the restroom when you went through?
What?
How was the restroom when you went through? Was it clean?
It's clean, it's nice, smell good.
It smells good. I generally don't smell the restroom when I go in, but it didn't jump out and scream, "Hey, it smells bad." In fact, the guy was actually there cleaning it when I went in, and there was a little bit of a line, but we went ahead and I bought a beverage so I could have the snack that Luna offered me. What I'm gonna do next is walk around the station and get another set of shots with this other camera just to make sure. This was a long drive, and I'd rather not do it again. For this station, I say let's give it a 8 out of 10, because it's a 24-hour station, it's not far from the highway, and if it's on your route, this is going to get you done. And not to mention, it was one of the first smatterings of version 3 East Coast Superchargers to open up. Depending on who you ask, either the one in Georgia or Miami was the first, but according to what I'm seeing on the map when I did my research, it was Miami. And then a whole bunch of East Coast Superchargers opened up at once, right about, I want to call it 10. I didn't count them, but it looked like 10. And so next thing we'll do is we'll walk around the station again, and we'll see what footage I use, and then we'll catch you at the next one. But these V3 Superchargers, they don't require a whole lot of time for you to just sit around. And if you have a Model 3 where they can take advantage of the full capacity, the full 250, whew, you are not going to be stopped for very long anymore. We've been stopped for moments. What is it, 15:45 now? I'll have to look at the clock and see when we arrived and plugged in. But I mean, we're already well into the taper. The taper is where the car starts to slow down. It's like if you're filling your bucket from a fire hose, you don't want to spill a drop. You can start as fast as you want, but you really gotta start slowing down, otherwise you're gonna start spilling drops. And that's exactly what the car does here, because a spilled drop here means either damage to the battery or fire. So Tesla takes charging safety very seriously. All right, so let's go take a look at the station, and then we'll catch you on the flip side. Okay, so as I was saying with the other camera, the early liquid-cooled cables, it's starting to cool down a lot now that the charge rate has dropped. The early liquid-cooled stations had a vent down here, but the new ones appear just to have a bigger gap right here. And you can actually hear the fan inside the station. You can see the radiator too. I don't know if you can catch it from your angle, but I can see it with my eyes. That's pretty cool. And then each cabinet services 4 stalls now instead of 2, and pointed out that, alright, so this is the one we're all on. You can see the compressor, the radiator, all that jazz, plumbing, and you can even hear the fan going in here. And then I videoed the label for the people who like to see that stuff. And I found another label and I videoed that also, again, for the people who like to see that stuff. Alright, so let's get a picture of the station and we'll move on to the next stop. But yeah, it's the sheets. It does not have a drive-through. It just looked like it might. And so there are trash cans very near the station. It's free air right there. And in addition to the trash cans at the pumps, you also got window washers, so not a bad deal. A quick shortcut to tell the difference between a V2 or urban supercharger and a V3 supercharger is you'll have a chrome ring on the urban and V2 supercharger, and there will be no chrome on the regular one, on the V3. If you're looking at the picture, you'll see a little blast of chrome on the V2 or the reclad V1s, and on the V3s you won't see any of that. Okay, this is what I was talking about with the brushed aluminum ring, chrome ring, whatever you want to call it. And then of course the cables are thicker, but the cables being thicker, is harder to tell from a photograph versus that very contrasty ring. With that, we'll catch you later. And that's the Lynchburg version 3 Supercharger. We'll catch you on the flip side. I want to ask you to take a moment to give this video a thumbs up, type a comment down below, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content like this, supercharger reviews, anything about the electric vehicle lifestyle. And catch you on the flip side. Thank you. I forgot to get the temperature gradient from before. So here is the scale that is used on Ludicrous Plus, and then I can now compare that with where the line was during the V3 Supercharging to see how hot the car got. Alright, there we go. I'm gonna get in because of the music. I don't want YouTube to take us down. So it's already at 61. That music is incredibly loud. Let's see what it does. It says 50 minutes remaining to get to 96 or so %. But we found a bunch of superchargers we haven't been to yet, so we probably won't go that high. We'll probably stop at 90. And I'll attach a charge graph from Teslafy, which unfortunately, since this is an MCU2 car, won't give you everything it gives you on an MCU1 car, but that's okay. You get the idea. Because all of my graphs will be compared against each other. So hopefully we get above 150 here. Like I said, I started with a cold battery. The lines are gone, the battery too cold lines, but it doesn't really tell us anything if the car doesn't know that it's going to a supercharger. Sorry, we both have on very noisy jackets. There's 116, 20. All right. So the way that I've heard it described that makes the most sense to me was, yes, the peak rate is lower, or it's not the peak rate. Yes, the peak rate isn't sustained, but the very slowest you get out of a V3 Supercharger is better than the best you'll get out of the very best of the V2 chargers. There we go. 149, 150. All right, we're V3 charging, baby. 153 kilowatts. It's the fastest this car has ever charged. Already added 5 kilowatt hours, starting at 450 miles an hour rate. It's going down now. Oh. All right, you can already hear the cooling system is kicked in. There it goes. It's going full floors. What I'll probably do... Yes, it is. What I'll probably do is put this charge profile video towards the end of... Well, this charge profile section towards the end of the video, because a lot of people won't find it very interesting because they're not Tesla nerds. But I'm gonna leave it in for those of us that are. There we go, 155 again, 453 miles an hour. Look at that. All right, we're in the green again. At 8 kilowatt hours. Got somebody looking at the car saying, "What is this?" He's never seen a supercharger station before in his red Camry. All right, now we can turn back on Sentry mode. It was telling me no because it was under the yellow. Let's do this. Let's turn on Ludicrous Plus and see what temperature we're sitting at, and then we'll go back. Also, even when V3 supercharging, my screen here is still at that new, smaller level. Alright, I guess he's getting air. Alright, so let's go Ludicrous Plus. Yes, bring it on. Alright, so the car is sitting at well above 30C, 50C something. I'll check it out and see what the number is when we get done. But let's get out of Ludicrous Plus mode because we don't actually want to heat the battery up to that maximum. We let the supercharger decide what it wants. My goodness, this is fast as heck. There goes the AC compressor now. Not just the cooling fans. I think the heater might have been involved in some of that. Bringing it up to that minimum temperature. Just going by the different sounds that I'm hearing. But I'm wondering if the heater makes a sound or if what I'm used to hearing is just the coolant pump. That one is definitely the AC compressor. 165 kilowatts. So supposedly the 100 packs are capable of doing 200 kilowatts, but we didn't start in optimal conditions. The like I said, the car didn't know that it was coming to a V3 supercharger, so it didn't prepare. But the bonus is that it's quite cold out, so it is having an easier time getting rid of the heat than it normally would. 170 kilowatts. Almost 500 miles an hour recharge rate. That's incredible. It's added 16 kilowatt hours in the amount of time that we've done this video. That is more than my very first Chevy Volt's battery capacity, and now we've gone 17, so that's more than my second Chevy Volt's battery capacity. And what I'll probably do is set this camera down and point it at the screen, and I'll take the gimbal camera out and we'll do a walk around the station. We'll also go ahead and hook up my microphone so that hopefully it will counteract some of the music. But it's an omnidirectional microphone, so it probably won't. Alright, now we're going down. Down, down, down. Whoa! Charge stopped. So, this is very much like what Kyle experienced over there at Outer Spec Motoring on his Model 3. It got to a certain temperature and it just kicked off. Alright, it's coming back, coming back. The other thing that may have happened is I'm wondering if this Model S had finished his charge cycle and it reallocated. Because it popped right back to 140. Still going down. Off again. We'll have to give Kyle a call and let him know what we found. Either way, it's still wicked fast, even with it recycling like this. It's weird that the cooling system aborts too, unless it's the cooling system cycling that's causing this. But you would think that if it's not a problem with the cooling system, that it would keep trying to hold that temperature unless it was already there. Alright, so now we're at V2 speeds. We're under 120. Now, 120 was V2 first release, or not even really first release, one of the later releases of V2. 150 was the last major upgrade that we got to it, and 90 was Generation 1. And then 72 is the Urban Supercharger, which is also a V2 Supercharger, but it's just kind of fixed in place. And since 72 plus 72 is almost 150, I wonder if that was their test of that system before rolling it out to the normal cabinets. Alright, I'm going to set this down, and then we're going to take a look at the facilities. It's a Sheetz gas station, so it's gonna get decent marks if it's gonna get decent marks. What am I saying? 24-hour gas station, hot food. It meets all the criteria. It's not too far off the highway either, so I don't know if I'm gonna give it extra points for being a V3 just because it's not the first. It's just one of the first on the East Coast. It was gonna be the first from my understanding, but that changed when Tesla decided they were ready for a East Coast rollout, which is a good thing, really. You can actually hear the cooling. 51%. Did the screen turn off on you?
Mm-hmm.
Did you turn it back on? We're recording the screens. So there's a big blank screen in the middle.
Oh. I want to pee.
Okay. And then you can tell if it's clean or not.
Put the camera in the back or not?
Huh?
Put this on the back or not?
No, it's looking at the screen where it is. I'll go get the pictures after you get back.
You not go with me?
Not till this recording is done. Here, let me get these pictures and then you go, okay?
Hmm?
Let me get these pictures of the stickers and then you go.
You done?
Yep. See you in a minute. There's definitely a temperature difference between the cable sitting there on the dock and the one we're using. Ours is a lot warmer. It doesn't feel warm to the touch by any means, but it doesn't feel cold, and that's pretty cool. Whenever Luna returns from the restroom, she's going to tell us about how clean the sheets is, and then I'll do some more shots of the equipment, just hopefully make sure that if we got any bad shots, they'll be good shots, and we'll go from there. We've got another Model S approaching, another nose cone. This one's a 70D, so their top speed is going to be super limited.
How's it going? Ours topped out at like 170 kilowatts. It's alright. Ours topped out at like 170 kilowatts. This is version 3, so it's a lot faster than the regular ones.
Yeah, for you guys.
For us.
Yeah, I have an old car.
It's a 70, right? Or
Yeah,
75?
70D.
Okay, I'm wondering if it'll do any faster than a regular 150 will do.
I don't think so.
At least for a minute though, right?
We're gonna have a race.
Good to see you. Thank you.
This is my 435th Supercharger.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm playing a game.
You are?
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had my car for 5 years.
Yes, congrats.
It's all over the country.
Yeah, what we're doing is we go through and we stop at each of the stations, we make a quick review of them. And we've got all of South Carolina, Georgia, half of Florida, and most of Virginia done. And then up to Massachusetts, we got a lot of them done.
Do medicine yet?
Not yet.
Online?
Not yet. It's on now though?
Yeah.
At Madison? All right.
I've charged it twice already.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
So the map-
Just like this one. Was this one on the map for you? Website.
The medicine is not even on the website.
Oh, so I got a what, plug share or supercharge.info?
It's not the Superchargers app. Do you have that?
Yeah.
I checked in on
Okay.
that one.
Perfect. Thank you.
She's got 400 Superchargers.
400?
Yeah.
She do YouTube too?
No, just take a picture. Yeah. So Madison, she said, is not on the map yet, but is open. Alright, so we'll do search. Madison Supercharger. $120, so it's a regular one, but it's new. It says it's a regular one, but looking at that cable, yeah, it's the it's got the silver. Okay, so
You want some snack?
in a minute, yeah, because the snacks will make some noise on the camera. Oh my goodness. Alright, so how far is that from where we are now? Oh. That's Madison, Wisconsin, not Madison, Virginia. so is that Madison? Which Madison is this? Still the wrong one. Alright, so she said the Supercharger app. I've got that too. There it is. Farmville, Virginia. Salem, Virginia. Wytheville we've been to. In fact, we just put Wytheville on the map. Mount Airy. Mount Hope. Charlottesville. We're gonna do Charlottesville today. Mount Jackson. Let's go to the website. She's just launching Supercharger and leaving. Okay, there's Madison, Virginia. Deed stalls 250. Much closer. Okay. So we'll definitely hit that on the way back home. There's Staunton. And Charlottesville. Okay, so we come over here to the one over here. Over there. Check that one if we haven't already been there. And then we go to Charlottesville and Madison. And then we go home. I went to the Sheets. I think we've been there. Yeah, we were there. Because that's where we were before we went to Wytheville. Yeah. Alright, so we can save that trip. Look at the bathroom and do you watch this? Okay. Okay, we're at 42 kilowatts. So this part is quite normal. Once we get to 90, we'll go ahead and stop this and unplug. Well, we will unplug when we get ready to leave, but we'll go ahead and stop this. That way I can use the camera for other stuff. But I wanted to get a full charge graph for a V3 Supercharger to 90%. I guess it probably would help to put it on a box or something. But you can still see. I can do 90. We're gonna do 80 because that's where a busy supercharger cuts you off to 80%. We could even get this video up tonight. We could even get this video up tonight. Let me check YouTube, see if anybody else has got one yet. Sorry for the break in the footage there. I don't know if the camera got too hot or if it was on for too long. But the battery is definitely low. Okay, so we just missed the 80% right when the camera died. I thought it might have overheated, but it was dead. So, switched batteries, but it missed the moment. So we're now sitting at 80%. We're gonna go ahead and do our walking around the station, taking a photograph, and then we will go on to the next station. And we'll catch you when we get this thing rated.